Hello, my gorgeous angel perfect besties. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Rachel, and welcome to the first reading vlog of February. So I'm really excited for today's video. It is going to be just a bit of a casual weekly reading vlog, but with a little twist, with a little flavor, because it is my birthday this week. So today is January 31st. My birthday is tomorrow on February 1st, and I'm really excited. I am taking the day off tomorrow. I am planning to read for most of the day. I'm doing some exciting, fun birthday things this weekend, and I have a great TBR for this week. So I'm going into 28, very excited, very happy, and hopefully I have some 5-star reads this week. All right, let's get straight into my TBR for this week because, as I said, I am so excited. So the very first book that I'm going to be reading in February is going to be When We Were Strangers by Renee Carlino. So straight off the bat, this was not on my February TBR, so we're already doing great, we're already deviating, but this was on my January TBR, and I wasn't able to get to it in the month of January. And sometimes when that happens and I'm not able to get to every book on my TBR, I'll just push it off and I'll just get to those books at some point later. But this is a book that I really don't want to push off, and it's been on my mind. I just haven't been able to pick it up because I've been prioritizing other things, but I really want to read this book because I really do think that I'm going to absolutely love it. The reason why is because this book gets compared to Normal People, and anytime a book gets compared to Normal People, the alarm bells go off. Like, I have to pick that book up. You guys know Normal People is one of my favorite books of all time. I think it is perfection. It is like a top 5 favorite book for me, and if this is compared to it, I need to read it. Like, point blank, that's it. So I'm very excited to pick this up. So this is a second chance romance. It follows 2 people who went to NYU together. They had a relationship, something happened, and then years later they are seeing each other once again, and I believe try to revitalize and rekindle that romance. I think that's what it's about. That sounds amazing. I love a second chance romance. I love a book set in New York City. I'm really looking forward to reading this and picking this up and seeing what I think. So this will be the first book that I read in February. It'll be the book that I read on my birthday. Fingers crossed that it is amazing. All right, and then the next book that I'm going to be reading in this vlog is going to be Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert. I am so excited to read this book. This follows our titular character, Eve Brown. She ends up getting a job at a bed and breakfast and has a grumpy sunshine dynamic with the owner, Jacob. I've just heard fantastic things about this book, and I am so looking forward to it. I'm also really excited to read this book because I know Eve is the youngest sibling. I am also the youngest sibling, so I'm just ready to relate to her with that little sister energy, and I just think that this book is going to be really fun. All right, and then the other book that I definitely want to read in this vlog is An Optimist's Guide to Heartbreak by Jennifer Hartman. I will be reading this on my Kindle. I have been seeing this book everywhere on Bookstagram, and I have been seeing 5-star reviews for it everywhere, and so I'm really excited. I believe it came out in January, but it is also another grumpy sunshine romance. Our main character goes back to her childhood hometown. She ends up working for the very grumpy and very tattooed Cal, and they have a bit of an interesting dynamic. And I know that Cal was her neighbor when she was a kid. I don't know if they were like friends or if they were just neighbors or what their dynamic is, but I'm really excited to see that relationship blossom. Even if it's not like a true childhood friends to lovers, I love that like established past that characters have together and then watching a romance blossom from there. So I'm really excited for that one too. So those are my reading plans. I just wanted to start the vlog and say hello. So as I said, tomorrow's my birthday. I'm gonna read Before We Were Strangers. I'll give you guys an update tomorrow on that. I'll also give you guys my first impressions of being 28, how I feel about it, what I recommend. And this weekend we're doing really fun birthday stuff, which I'll talk about later in the week once we get there. But that is all I have to say for now. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow with my first reading check-in. Hi besties! It is my birthday, 28, feeling great. That was terrible, but I'm having a really good day. I just feel so happy today. I just want to say, like, before we even get started on the reading check-ins, I have received so much love on Instagram today, and I'm very overwhelmed, and it's just amazing, and I have so many beautiful people in my life, my fellow booktube friends, my bookstagram friends, and all of you guys. You guys mean so much to me, and I have just been like, there's just been such an outpouring of love for me today, and it's amazing, and it's like crazy, and yeah, I just really appreciate you all. Every comment means so much to me, and just, yeah, I'm having a really good day, and you guys are definitely like a major part of that, so thank you so much. But I've kind of just been hanging around today and doing a little bit of reading. So I did start Before We Were Strangers. I said When We Were Strangers yesterday. I don't know. I'm literally like, I can see the book in the viewfinder and I still messed up the title. Before We Were Strangers is the book that I started today, and it is very interesting. I'm really loving it. I want to start out saying that the writing of this book, it just really, it's a writing style that I connect with. It's very witty and fun and interesting and kind of quirky, I don't know. And I am finding the story and these characters very compelling. I will say though, this is a book that thus far, my first impressions are like normal people. I could see people maybe not liking this book, and that is because the characters are pretty flawed. Both of our main characters, Grace and Matt, they definitely have characteristics that, you know, we're looking back at their time when they first met, and it could be due to immaturity, it could be due to, you know, lack of life experience, whatever, but the way that sometimes they interact with each other and just the way that they live their lives a little bit, you just want to like go into the book and shake them and be like, stop doing this, like, come on. It's just such a fascinating dynamic that the two of them have, and I'm really liking that. So, but I will say this book might not be for everyone. The book starts out, our main character's name is Matt, and he is like 36 and he's working at National Geographic, but he's actually not out on the field anymore. He's doing an office job and he's just really not happy and feeling very unfulfilled. And then one day he is waiting for a subway and he sees Grace, who was this very important person to him when he was going to school like 10 years ago, and they kind of have a missed connection. He like sees her get onto a subway and she turns around and sees him through the window, and they kind of both just like see each other for a second, and then he doesn't see her anymore and she's whisked off into the subway and he's just like, oh my god, I can't believe I just saw her. And then we travel back several years ago to when they first met, and we kind of see how their relationship blossomed. So I am about a third of the way through the book, and I've just really enjoyed getting to know these characters really well. This is dual POV. For the longest time it was only Matt's POV, and I was wondering if we were going to get into Grace's POV, and I'm really glad that we did, because I do think that Matt kind of romanticizes Grace a lot, obviously, and I like being in her head because it has kind of painted a clearer picture of who she is and her motivations and her feelings, and I really appreciated that. I think that this is crafted really well, and I'm liking seeing different facets of the relationship from each of their perspectives. There are some really beautiful quotes in this book, and I've actually teared up already. I don't know, but like one of these quotes just really hit me, and it was a quote about falling in love, and I just thought it was really touching. There is also an interesting element to this book that also is comparative to normal people, where there's a pretty big class disparity between Grace and Matt. Matt comes from an extremely wealthy family, and Grace comes from an extremely poor family, and she has to kind of do a lot of different things to survive, and Matt kind of wants to help her out, but there's this kind of interesting dance that they do, and I do think thus far Normal People does a bit more of a deep dive and maybe like a little bit more of an intellectual exploration of class disparity, but it's still definitely here, and you see the differences between them and kind of how that has shaped them to be who they are. I think that it adds a level of depth to the novel, and yeah, I think it's a nice touch. It adds some like, you know, layers to their relationship, which I'm enjoying. So I'm about a third of the way through, and things are, you know, going really great, but we obviously know, because they haven't seen each other in a decade, something bad is gonna happen, and I feel like it's really going to hurt, because when they're young they have this pretty optimistic way of looking at things, and you know, things just seem to go really well between them, but I just know things are gonna start happening and it's probably gonna hurt really bad. But so far I think that it's really fantastic, and it just feels unique to a lot of the romances that I have read. I do think that there's a good chance, I don't know if I'll finish this today, but I think I'm going to get very close to doing so, and I'll probably read a little bit more before bed, so who knows. Next time I talk to you guys I may have finished this, or I'll just be a little bit farther, but so far this is going really well and I'm really liking it. So it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon now, and I think I'm just gonna hang out. I kind of feel like watching The Office and just like lounging around for a bit, and then Sean and I are going to dinner tonight at one of my favorite restaurants. I'm super excited, and I think we're gonna go shopping after, so it's gonna be a great day for me. Once again, thank you guys so much for all the love today. Really appreciative. Like, I can't say that enough, and I'm having a wonderful birthday. So I will probably talk to you guys tomorrow once I have another reading update for Before We Were Strangers, and yeah, that's the end. I don't know. I never know how to end these clips. I'm gonna go now. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Hi besties. So it is a couple days later now. It is Friday, February 3rd. And as you guys saw, we went out to dinner for my birthday and it was fantastic. And I just had such an amazing day. Tonight is going to kind of be part 2, continuation of the birthday festivities. I will get to that in a second. But I wanted to give you guys some reading updates because I have very interesting reading updates. I finished a book and started another. Let's just get straight into it. Before We Were Strangers, I finished this last night. I read the majority of it in one sitting last night. And oh my God, I don't even know where to begin with this book. If you guys saw my Instagram story that I posted while I was reading this, I love parts of this book and I hate parts of this book. I don't know if a book has quite conflicted me as much as this one, but it elicited a lot of emotions out of me. I was so angry at some parts. I was crying by how like touched and heartbroken I was at some points, and I was really happy at some of the sweeter moments in this book. But I don't even know, you guys, this book really did a number on me. When I last talked to you guys, I believe that our main characters, Grace and Matt, they were still in college and their romance was blossoming and we were seeing that, and I really enjoyed that part of the book. Sure, these characters, they're not perfect and they were immature at times and they didn't always say or do the right thing, but I enjoyed kind of seeing that raw, real life, you know, year in their life of them trying to make this relationship work while also trying to figure out what they want to do with their own lives and with their careers and school and all of that. And there were a lot of really compelling moments between them and really beautiful and sweet romantic moments, and I really enjoyed that. I did get to the part, you know, where the two of them separate and things go down, and oh my God, it was rough. It was rough to read about. At one point I was crying so hard and Sean walked in and he was like, what did I just walk into? What is going on? And it was like almost out of frustration because I'm so mad at these characters, but like I get it, but also I don't. And then the, you know, final part of the book is when they're older now and they've seen each other on the subway, they meet up and they try to see like, is there anything here? Can we salvage anything? You know, we've wasted so much time being apart from each other. What can we do? And that I have mixed feelings about. It was really exciting when they met up finally and cool to see kind of the differences between them and the differences that they noticed within each other. But then there was that plot twist, and I don't hate that plot twist. I'm not super mad about it. I'm also not in love with it. And I will have to say the entire last portion of the book was extremely rushed. Like I truly think, and I never say this, but I truly feel like this book could have been like 500 or not 500. I feel like this book could have been like 50 or 100 pages longer, and I really think that we would have benefited. I do think that everything went so fast towards the end. It kind of left me feeling a little bit less connected to the story in the latter half. And you know, we did get explanations for why things went down the way that they did. And I get it, but I also don't, because yeah. And then like the very ending of this book, like the basically final scene of this book was kind of just like, you know, a little over the top for me. But I liked this book. I think I like this book. I think I really like this book, but parts of it made me so angry. So like, do I recommend this? I don't really know. I think if you're gonna read this, go into it open-minded and kind of just let the story, you know, wash over you and lower your expectations of like what you hope these characters will do and say and what actions they will take, because they may surprise you and they may frustrate you. And this book was really interesting. I think it's a unique story. Also, in regards to the Normal People comparison, now that I have finished this book, I don't really think that I agree that it's similar to Normal People. There is the, you know, kind of miscommunication aspect, and then there is sort of that mutual pining for years and years. That's pretty much it, I would say. And there is a little bit of that class disparity that I talked about earlier, but I don't think that it hits as hard as it does in Normal People. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend this book to someone if you like loved Normal People and you want another book like that. I don't necessarily think that this is that book. I do think there are some similarities, but not enough where I think that it's like a comparison that I would make in my opinion. But I finished this book, or it finished me. Renee Carlino kicked my ass last night. This is a book that I am going to think about, I think, for a while, and my rating of this book may change in the future, but it's one of those books that I think it needs to marinate a little bit. I'll see how I feel, maybe by like the time I film my February wrap up, and maybe my rating will change, but it's a 4-star book for now, and I did overall enjoy my time with this. All right, and then this morning, I'm only a little bit into this book, so this will probably be just kind of like a quick little update, but I started Act Your Age, Eve Brown, and I am absolutely obsessed. This has 5-star vibes, 5-star feels. This has like one of my favorite romances of all time feels. I'm only on page 40, but I love Eve so much. Earlier, I like made the joke that like, oh, I can't wait for like the little sister vibes, little sister energy for me to relate to. No, I actually am relating to it in a way that kind of hit me hit me deep. And I ended up starting to tab and annotate this book because I'm loving it that much. I love this writing style. It is quick, it is funny, it is witty, and it's just a writing style that I really, really enjoy, particularly in a romance. I just feel like it keeps it very fresh and interesting. And I really, really love our two main characters, Eve and Jacob, so far. So as I said, when I talked about this book earlier, Eve gets approached by her parents after another kind of like failed career attempt, and they say that they're going to cut her off and she needs to move out and she needs to go out and make something of herself. And she ends up stumbling across this very cute bed and breakfast, and she kind of does an impromptu interview with the very blunt and grumpy bed and breakfast owner Jacob, and interviews for a job as the chef there. And I mean, I haven't gotten to the part where she gets the job, but I assume she's going to get the job. And I think the two of them are really going to bump heads, but I think that they're going to be very good for each other because they are very much opposites attract. So I'm excited to see that. And I just love Eve so much. She has said some quotes in this book that I really, really related to about like being the youngest in the family, and I can relate to her in ways of feeling like, you know, I've definitely felt in my life feeling like I'm not living up to my potential, disappointing people, and people kind of like writing you off because you're young or, you know, because of a multitude of factors. And she talks about that a little bit in the beginning of the book, and I was like, okay, I'm relating, Talia Hibbert, you're hurting my feelings, but it's okay. And I don't know, I really, really like her character, you know? She's funny and she's relatable, but she's also emotionally in tune with she wants to do better, she just doesn't know how. This Is Me Trying by Taylor Swift. Like, she's really, really trying to find out her path, but it's just not working. And just because she didn't have this kind of like meteoric rise in a straight and narrow path to her career, she's kind of a little bit all over the place, you know, that doesn't make her journey any less worthy. And that is something that I can really relate to, and kind of made me a little bit emotional in the beginning of the book. So I am like fully in on this. I'm so connected. I love Eve. And Jacob, I have just met a little bit of him, but I really like how blunt he is. I really like how matter of fact he is. And I'm just so excited to see these two interact more because, as I said, they're just so different. So this book is fantastic thus far. I'm so excited to keep reading. I'm hoping tonight, if we get home and it's not too late, that I will get to continue. But if not, I'll definitely read more of this tomorrow. Alrighty, so tonight's plans are very exciting. So we are going to go see Pacific Northwest Ballet's production of Giselle, and I am literally just like, I'm so excited. So I've talked about this, I think, many times on my channel, but I did ballet for like my whole childhood. I ended up quitting dance when I was around 18, I think, and it was like my whole life. And I've gone to the ballet many times, and Pacific Northwest Ballet is the professional company based here in Seattle, and it's one of the best in the world. Like, we're very lucky to live here and have such an amazing company here. And I have seen many of their productions. I've seen Swan Lake, The Nutcracker, Cinderella, I've seen The Director's Choice, and now we're seeing Giselle, which is a ballet that I have never seen and I've never been in a production of. I did do one variation from Giselle, but I haven't like seen the whole show, and I'm really excited. It's a cool story. Basically, very quickly, Giselle is about this peasant girl who falls in love with this man who she thinks is like at her same kind of level in life, but he is actually a man of higher status pretending to be that, and he is engaged and he goes off and, like, you know, he has this kind of little relationship with her, but he's like, no, I'm actually engaged and I have to go and sorry. And Giselle basically dies from a broken heart, and then she ends up like joining this group of women ghosts who have been wronged by men in their life, and they basically go around haunting the men who have wronged them. And I think that that just sounds amazing. It's good for her, it's girl bosses. I am so excited to see this. I know that this is kind of like a tragic and slow ballet, and I'm just so excited for that, and has a little bit of gothic themes, so I think it's gonna be really fun, and I'm so excited. Also, tonight is opening night, and opening night is always just really exciting. That is the plans for tonight. I'm very much looking forward to it. I need to get dressed, and we're gonna leave probably in like 40 minutes, but I think it's gonna be a really good weekend. And then this weekend I have like no plans. I need to film a little bit, but I'm going to read Actor Age Eve Brown and then An Optimist Guide to Heartbreak. So really great week thus far, and I'm excited to take you all along. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. I'll let you know how the evening went, and I will hopefully have read more of Actor Age Eve Brown and give you guys an update. friends, happy Saturday. So this will be a pretty quick update. I don't have any reading updates, but I just wanted to touch base kind of before I started my day. So as you guys saw, last night we went and saw Giselle and it was amazing. Literally so fantastic. I teared up at parts, which is no surprise because it's me. It was so beautiful. Like I just absolutely am in love with that ballet. And I did get the plot a little bit wrong. Instead of the like ghostly brides haunting the men that wronged them, they actually, I think, like lure them to the forest and then make them dance to death, which is even better. So it was really, really fantastic. And Sean really enjoyed it too. I know like it probably wouldn't be his preferred way to spend a Friday night is going to the ballet, but he really, really loved it and thought the story was cool. And he's a musician, so he really enjoys like the live orchestra and thought that that was really amazing. So we both had a fantastic time and oh my god, I just love the ballet so much. Got home pretty late, so I didn't read at all. And now it's Saturday. I think it's like, yeah, it's around 11 o'clock. Haven't done anything today except for go and get Starbucks, but I really want to spend a good chunk of today reading Act Your Age, Eve Brown. I would love to get, let me see, this book is a little bit over 300 pages. Oh, it's like 370 pages. Okay, so I'd like to get to maybe like page 300. I feel like that would be a good goal today. I really, really enjoyed this book yesterday when I started it, and I just really want to get more into the story and see how it goes between Jacob and Eve. So I'm really looking forward to this. And Hannah and Christina are about to start hosting some reading sprints for their Sarah J. Maas read along, but you can read whatever. So I'll probably use those sprints to get through this and also clean because our house is a disaster right now. So I will hopefully make it through quite a chunk of Act Your Age, Eve Brown, and I really, really hope that I continue to love it because this book is just giving me like automatic 5-star feels, and I really, really hope that that is the case. So I am going to go probably clean up a little bit and do some laundry, get on to Hannah and Christina's sprints, and have a nice relaxing Saturday of reading. So I will talk to you guys probably tomorrow with more reading updates. Hi friends, happy Sunday. I am having a really fantastic day. I just filmed my birthday book unboxing haul. I actually think, yeah, that should already be up by now, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. I am just so like, I'm overwhelmed and overjoyed by the love that I received today, and I just feel so lucky. So it's just been a really good morning, and I still need to edit that though. And I do have some reading updates for you guys. So you probably saw a little bit in my B-roll what I've been up to, but I spent quite a bit of time on Hannah and Christina's sprints, and I got through a lot of Act Your Age, Eve Brown. I am on page 234, and there's like 370 pages, I want to say, something around that. So I have a little bit over 100 pages to go, and I am just, I'm sick to my stomach over how much I love this book. You guys, it's just perfection so far. It's a perfect rom-com, in my opinion. We have interesting characters that are funny, that are well-rounded. We have tension, we have angst, we have humor. We have a really fun and beautifully described setting. This Castell cottage that is the B&B that Eve starts working at, that Jacob owns. It just sounds really beautiful and magical, and everything is working so well for me. And I just find Eve to be such a relatable character. I relate to her so much, and I've definitely found myself in moments of feeling like I'm not enough or feeling like people don't expect much from me, trying to break through that barrier, having difficulty doing that. She also loves romance and like smutty books, which I just love, and she's just an amazing character. And then Jacob, I absolutely love Jacob Wayne. Oh my god. He is so funny, he is so blunt. He's just such a fantastic character. Jacob does have autism, and he goes a bit into his background and his backstory, and it's really painful and touching, and Talia Hibbert is just doing such a fantastic job at pulling at my heartstrings and making me fall in love with these characters. And I just read the purple glittery scene. I cannot. Oh my god. I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that level, but I'm into it. I'm excited. I love this book so much. It just makes me so happy. And the emotional parts hit me, and oh my god, yeah, this is shaping up to be pretty damn perfect rom-com in my opinion. I'll see how it ends. I'll see kind of what goes on, if there's a third act conflict, or you know, what we're going to do to kind of wrap this story up. But I am just having the time of my life reading this book. So I definitely want to, I'll probably end up finishing this tomorrow. I think that'll be my plan. Absolutely loving this. And then you guys saw in my B-roll last night in the bath, I started An Optimist's Guide to Heartbreak by Jennifer Hartman. I think I've been reading off my Kindle. I think I'm on like page 100, something like that. I think I'm like a third of the way done with this book. It's Grumpy Sunshine. Our main character, Hope, she goes back to her hometown and she has a lot of history there, and she ends up working at an auto body shop as a receptionist, and the owner of the auto body shop is her childhood friend, Cal, and she hasn't seen him in years. There was a tragedy that occurred when they were kids that affected them both really deeply, and they lost connection after that, and is full of hope that she will be able to reconnect with Cal because she really misses him, and she just wants to kind of patch up those painful parts of her life and have him a part of it again. Cal is kind of reluctant though, just because it is very painful for him, just with everything that they've been through, and he's very grumpy, and the two of them are kind of trying to figure out what type of friendship they're going to have, and are slowly fighting an attraction to one another. So that is kind of like the gist of this book. I am liking this book. I definitely think it's a more emotional romance, and it definitely pulls at your heartstrings. I have a feeling I know like what occurred, but I don't know the details yet, and I think when that is revealed, it's probably going to be pretty emotional. And I do like Cal and Lucy as characters, and I'm interested to see how are they going to change their relationship, because right now it is still pretty awkward between them, and there is definitely a lot of history there. But I enjoy that because, you know, that's one of my favorite things about childhood friends to lovers, is all of that history. Cal is very grumpy, but he definitely has reason to be. He's more like closed off, I would say. He isn't mean at all, but he's just been through a lot, and so I think that that makes him very closed off and reminds him of a just different time in his life. So I think that he's not quite jumping out of his seat to see her, but he is definitely interested. But is Sunshine, she is teetering slightly a little bit immature for me. That's really my only critique thus far with the book, is her character sometimes, not fully, I don't like super dislike her, but she is like a little bit too sunshiny at times, a little bit too kind of, you know, that just like sometimes Grumpy Sunshine, the Sunshine character, acts a little unrealistic and caricature-y. She's kind of doing that a little bit for me. I'm not like obsessed with her. Hopefully we will find a little bit more depth with her character as time goes on, but I am liking this book. So that is the update for this book. It's pretty short, as you can see. It's less than 300 pages, which is awesome. Or is it? Yeah, it's like 260 pages. So need to get these two bad boys read to finish out the vlog. Tonight though, I do think that I will read a little bit more of these tonight. However, the Grammys are tonight, and I mean, we all know the Grammys are BS at this point, but Beyonce, Taylor, and Harry are all gonna be there, and those are like my three favorite artists of all time. So I just want to like watch it to see them, basically. So Harry's performing, Taylor is rumored to maybe perform, I don't know, but I'm also curious to see if she wins an award, if she's going to announce anything specifically regarding Speak Now, Taylor's version. Just Swiftie things, you know? I'm probably gonna watch those for a little bit just to see if anything exciting happens, and then I will probably read a little bit more of both of these. I think I want to read Eve Brown. I mean, I do want to read Eve Brown more. I want to get farther into this just because I'm loving where things are going. This is just like amazing, beautiful, perfect, an invisible string book. So that is the update. I hope you all are having a lovely Sunday. I will talk to you guys in a little bit when I have updates, or when I finished, or just whenever I feel like pulling out the camera. Hi friends, so it is time for my final reading update and to close out the vlog. I finished these two puppies right here, and I have thoughts. Let's start with An Optimist's Guide to Heartbreak. I finished this last night. Just gonna get straight into it. I did end up giving this book a 2.5-star rating. I am very sad about that. This book had me in the first half so much. You know, I talked about yesterday how the characters had little quirks that I wasn't obsessed with, but like it was, you know, kind of like a nice emotional romance. I was getting it. I was liking the childhood friends to lovers aspect. I was excited to see where things went. But I would say pretty much from 50% on, I think that this book really took a nosedive for me, and I just really did not enjoy the latter half of this book, and it kind of just made the overall reading experience just pretty average for me. The thing with this, and the thing with me kind of telling you guys why I rated this book a 2.5, is it's going to be a little bit difficult because the reasons that I didn't love this book are pretty spoilery. So I'm not going to spoil this book at all, but I am going to keep my kind of review of this right now pretty vague, so I apologize if this isn't the most like detailed review. I think that both of our characters, Lucy and Cal, are a little bit too immature for me. I think that honestly, I don't even know if they're necessarily like good for each other. And I do want to say they've both been through horrific things, are still currently going through tough things, and I am very sympathetic to that. And I get it, when you're going through things like that or you've been through horrible things in your life, you're not always going to say or do the right thing, and I am 100% like sympathetic to that. But I do still think you have to have some responsibility for how you treat other people in your life. And I just feel like these two, in different ways, didn't treat each other very well. And so I just didn't really root for this romance. With Lucy, I felt like what her inner monologue was, what her kind of values and how she wanted to live her life in her head, what that was displayed as was differently than kind of how she was talking to Cal and reacting to Cal, and that left me a little bit confused. I feel like she was a bit of a contradiction, and it's a complicated situation for sure. I don't know, I didn't really like the way that she handled things on her end, and then Cal, he's got, you know, emotional unavailability, and once again, he has reason. He has been through a lot of trauma in his life. I get it. But it's just like, you also can't go around treating people this way, you know? And it's just that saying of like, men will do everything except go to therapy. That's kind of how I feel about Cal. And I'm joking, but I mean, like, I didn't find him to be a romance hero to root for. He did and said some things that I think were, you know, it just sucked. You know, it sucked the way that sometimes he reacted to Lucy, but she also, you know, I just think it's a messy situation between them. And you guys know I love a messy romance, but this, like, didn't really have any fun involved in the mess. And then the plot twist. Not a plot twist that I am super in love with. I don't know, you guys. I walk away from this book being confused by our characters' motivations. I wonder at times, why did Lucy even come back into Cal's life? I wonder how these two could make it work. It makes me sad because, I mean, I love a childhood friends to lovers. I say, like, why would these two come back into each other's lives? I get why. They have so much history. That's a really intense bond that you have with someone, but it just wasn't really enjoyable to read about. I just didn't really like the two of them together, and it just didn't even really give me romance vibes by the end, because this is a romance novel, right? At its core, that is what this is, and it just, I don't know, it started to like lose all of the romance feelings that I normally have when I read a romance, and I just started to fall out of love with this book pretty quickly, unfortunately. So I gave it a 2.5 stars because I do think that the writing is nice and there are some really beautiful quotes in this book. And I was enjoying myself in the beginning. I will say this is just not a book for me, you know, and I have seen a lot of people really love this book, so maybe give it a shot if it's something that you're interested in. Now, this, on the other hand, is a beautiful 5-star, incredible book. I finished this a couple days ago and I loved it. I loved it. I've talked a lot about why I like this book throughout this vlog, but this book is a perfect rom-com to me. This is my favorite rom-com I have ever read. It has elements of everything I love in a romance and in a rom-com, and I just think that this book is magic. I absolutely loved seeing Eve's character development, her self-discovery throughout this novel, and I enjoyed being along for the ride. I love Jacob. I loved him opening up. I love their dynamic. In the beginning of reading this, you see how different they are, but they also have a lot of similarities too, and I just think that they're a really interesting and beautiful match. And I really, really liked the way that the latter half of the book went, even with the third act conflict. Like, I thought it was handled well. I get their reasonings, all of that. So this book was perfection, in my opinion. I am so, so happy that I read this. This book brought me so, so much joy, and I really loved the epilogue too, I will say. It kind of leads you to think that maybe one thing is going to happen, but then something else happens, and I found it more gratifying because I feel like it kind of circles us back to kind of how Eve was feeling in the beginning of the book, and sort of getting that gratification of that sort of storyline wrapping up nicely with a bow. So I love Eve and Jacob forever. And I also wanted to say that the writing in this book was really, really beautiful too. There was some really beautiful imagery in this book, like when they're out at night by the pond, and like the descriptions of the moonlight was really, really beautiful. And then when Eve comes across the cottage for the first time, she describes it as kind of like this. Let me see, I tabbed it. She just talks about how the woods surrounding the cottage looks like a place where pixies and unicorns and other fabulous things would be. And like, I don't know, this book brought a lot of really beautiful imagery as well, which is just a really nice touch. So she is perfection. All right, my friends, that is going to be it for me. That is the end of my birthday reading vlog. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to this point in the video and you wanted to let me know, you can go ahead and leave the birthday cake emoji. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Goodreads. Both are linked down below. I really appreciate that you watched this video. I love you guys so much. I hope you are having a fantastic day, and I will catch you guys in the next one.